Recording more macros to automate common tasks that you do on a regular basis. This can eliminate repetition. We're going to show you an example of where we can use a recorded macro in Excel to filter our data. On the screen you see we've got our data set. Now, although we will be using the AutoFilter option that's built in, you might find that if this is something you have to do on a regular basis for reporting, that you filter several columns of data, you then copy the results, you put a new sheet in, copy them on there and format that sheet. It could take you some time, certainly if you've got to do multiple reports. So we could create a report by recording a macro and then attaching it to a button. So people in future or staff members can very simply create a report by clicking a single button. So let's go through it. Here we got the data set we're going to use. It's not a particularly large data set, but it will suffice for what we want. Now we want to do a recording, so the first thing we'll do is either come down to the button down in the bottom left corner of the screen. If you don't have that, you can then go to your View ribbon and across to the button at the far right, click on the drop down for macros and choose Record Macro. Remember, if you lose your way on these tutorials, to always pause the video or rewind it and watch it again. So we need to put a macro name in. So we'll call this Filter Daily. We have a keyboard shortcut. Now, we showed you this on a previous exercise. If you missed that, then watch the introduction to macro recording. We then have to record this into a certain book. Now, because this macro is only relevant to this single book, we shall leave it as this workbook. Remember, when we click OK, it's going to begin recording. Click OK. It's now recording everything we do. Now, I want to do a filter, so I'm going to click in cell A3. Why? Well, that's because that's where my data starts, but you can click anywhere in the data set. We'll then go to the data ribbon. We'll turn on the filter by clicking on the large funnel button. This turns on the filter drop downs. This is called the auto filter. Now let's say that we always have to find those staff members who are in sales and payroll. We could click on the drop down, tick the payroll and sales, click OK, and that filters. Remember, if you haven't used AutoFilter, then watch one of our previous tutorials on this channel. We also want to see just those sales and payroll in the London store, so we can choose the London store only, and that gives us the results we need. We can now do a selection by doing Control A. That will highlight the results. We'll do a copy, Control C. We'll add a new sheet, click in A5, Control V to paste all of our data. Now, because I want to widen the columns automatically, we can select the entire sheet and double click between the A and the B column up in the titles. You'll see here I get a double-headed arrow. Double click to auto widen. I will then put in a title in A1, Sales and Payroll Report. We'll add some formatting. So remember, everything I'm doing is being recorded at this point. We could do other formatting as well, sort it into order, but that's all we'll do on this exercise. And we'll stop recording in a moment because we want to go back and turn off the filter. So we go back to the personnel records and turn off the filter by removing the funnel button. Finally, click in a cell to deselect the range, and we've finished. We will stop recording. Once we've stopped recording, we can check that this works and attach it to a button. And the way we do this, let's first of all just delete this sheet. We then want to add a button at the top here. Let's just make some room for this. You can use a picture, photograph, clip art, or any drawing to represent the button you want to click. If I choose a shape, choose from the basic shapes, the bevel, and I'm just going to draw out the button. Sales, payroll, report. We'll just do some formatting for this. And once you've got your buttons, your pictures, you then right click and go down to Assign Macro. Choose that. There you can see is the filter that we created. Click OK. If we deselect, we can now test if this works. Remember, we don't have any sheets in here. We have personnel. We come in, we click on here, and as quick as a flash, if you look down the bottom, it's given us a new sheet with that report on there. So play around with the record macro if you do jobs on a regular basis, filtering, sorting, formatting sheets, then maybe consider recording doing those and then playing them back when you need the same.